Shalom, family. Glory be to God and blessed be the Lamb. Let's take a dive into geopolitical affairs as it pertains to Israel, the true Israel, the son Israel. You know, after they've worked tirelessly at gaining peace in the nation state of Israel, tirelessly, as one would say, what happens if they were to find peace? Real Israel. You are their most dangerous threat. You are threat number one. So what happens now, world? What happens now? After nation after nation after nation have emptied out its ancient archives, showing exactly who we are, the real history, all the way down to Adolf Hitler. America knows too. It refuses to open its archives. I'm sure that it's pretty much classified. I know that every study about black men is classified, professor level clearance at the very least. In other words, all of them have been classified. I wonder why. Well, I don't wonder why anymore because the truth is already out. Everyone knows who we are. So back to Israel, the nation state. What happens after that? When Israel is forced to deal with Israel, when the world insists that the real Israel step forward and they are the Israel and that no other Israel shall be respected. What happens when Israel takes its place? That's how it would be taken. In fact, they're saying out loud that that's what's going on. It's going to be impossible for both Israels to remain on the same stage at the same time. In fact, it can't be done. It can't be done. The old Israel, or the nation state Israel, is being isolated and called out, while at the same time your very real black voice is rising, not as black people, but as Israel. But as Israel. An issue since they've created the nation state Israel. One war after another, a country that has never known peace in the entirety of its existence up until now. Even now, peace is questionable, but this is speculative, purely speculative, now isn't it? But the question still remains, what happens when they come to the conclusion, and there's no way out of it, that there is a people that 99.9% notwithstanding. But the point that I'm trying to make on the geopolitical level, though, is what happens when the world insists that the real Israel go home and that they will no longer do any kind of business with the one who currently is the nation state of Israel. What happens then? Because that is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. This is what is written. So it will be. But on the physical level, what does it mean? About the current, wherever the current decides it's going to take it. And they'll be helpless to do anything about it, as if they are adrift, as they are adrift and isolated now. Adrift and isolated. But before TikTok banned me for even speaking such mundane language and using terms like nation state to avoid their butcher block of censors, I always imagine a table of them just poring over files. A table looking creepy and strange as they're trying to figure out what he meant. What he meant. And I never did figure this out. But then someone else did. Well, at least it it furthers my understanding. I normally, and I'm not tonight. I don't call the names of the people that I actually listen to, or especially what I've gathered from them, for a reason. It is a dangerous world. It is a dangerous world, and they would be harmed, or the possibility of them being harmed is always there. It is the nature of the game. So we don't use names. I hope they can forgive me. But to wake people, quote unquote, reparations is because it would disrupt this country's peace. Just the debate alone would almost bring it to its knees. Any serious debate would actually, in their eyes, tear this country apart. This is how they feel. This is why everyone else can get what they get. But you, on the other hand, due to the political nature of it, based on a historical, sociological um, environment or the dynamic. And if we have to force their hands, then we will force their hands. They're not going to sit there and exit and make it look as though it's something that it isn't. Because what they're asking is that you go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Let us keep acting like we are you. Let us keep acting in anyway. Again, the whole TikTok thing, they're so thin-skinned over there. So thin-skinned. I would like to tell them you can run, but the truth will still be. I mean, it is ridiculous. I've been struck twice. The people, the culture have to deal with that. That is the question. What happens in their mind and their spirit then, as it's happening now? They have already announced that young black people, whatever young black people is, they didn't put an actual number on it, but I would reckon that anything that can walk and talk and be healthy, they're going to look at you as a young person, guaranteed. But I don't know why they use these terms. What they meant to say is all of you are a threat. God knows full well who everyone is. He's not confused. He's not confused. They can play as many games as they choose. They can entertain whatever they want to entertain. Look, I'm even afraid to use terms like worship. Oh, there it is. He anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic. By the fact of him saying that we are going to do it is anti-Semitic, even though we want to do it. Wow. Can you imagine them going another year claiming to be you? It can't be done. Are you going to go back to sleep? Is social media, they're going to go back to sleep? Is all of these foreign lands, including, sorry, Catholic Church, but they're going to put all of their paintings and statues and statuettes and books back into their archives and say, oh, well, we're going to have to play this game with them. We all know the truth. Into the community of humanity for them. And it's not. I'm not, you act like I'm trying to curse them, but anyone who has watched history, understand sociology, understand politics, can clearly see this. There's no way. War is inevitable because this is a country that doesn't have anything. The nation state of Israel doesn't produce anything. It can't sustain itself. You can't feed yourself 20 million, 9 million strong off of diamonds and weapons. You need support. So what happens when America pulls its support as it's bound to do. There's only so much longer that the American government can play this game politically. At some point, it doesn't go away. Okay, it doesn't go away. So I've entertained a certain scenario in my head, and I may be wrong. The censor people, they already hear me and they waiting on this. It may be banned by morning, but what happens? And the rest of the world is saying what it's saying. We know that the people that's from that land is in your land, at least some of them. And these people should not be there. What happens then? Constant war? Pretty much. Because they can't give that land up because in harder for them to ignore. And they're not ignoring it. Believe me, you are on the lips of their Mossad and the CIA and government officials all over the world. And they're all talking about me and you, as opposed to them who they know who they are. And what pisses me off is that they've always known. They've always known. They've had the archives for hundreds of years, had the statues and the books and the teachings and the paintings for centuries. And yet the world is guilty of allowing this lie, forced to face it. Nowhere else to go with it. Well, I can tell you one of the first places that they're that that they're going to go with it. They're going to say, "Look, it's the truth, but what difference does it make? What difference does it make?" They're already saying that amongst themselves. Some of them anyway. So what is what they say? So what? Never understanding that this is not the hour for them to believe that they can afford, but they're not. Some people are incapable of feeling things like embarrassment, shame, or even guilt. They don't feel that shit. Normal people do. Normal people do. The other does not. Anyway, what happens? Let me tell you what happens. War happens. Because the world is not going to go backwards. It's moving forward. With or without the United States. With or coming. They are not as surprised as you think. They know. They don't know how to stay ahead of it. They don't. And they also know that they can't stop it. So that just leaves the human element. The human element. What will those guys do when they have to face the cold, stark truth in which the world is going to force on them, as it is doing now, day by day, day by day, day by day? They have been outmaneuvered at every. We can't even sit down at a damn restaurant without someone saying, they sure do look like them J people. Let's let's go over and then accost them and see if they are a member of those J people. This is all across the world. All across the world. Okay? They're being cornered with nowhere to go. And this is a bad position when they can access weapons and nuclear weapons and other warfare. Their ears are perked, like we're just waiting. Go ahead and post it, you son of a bitch. Go ahead and post it. Say something. Say something. And this is what it has come to. Controlled by those who would otherwise harm you. At any rate, that's off the beaten path. What are they going to do when they're forced to deal with Israel, the nation within a nation, the nation that drives a nation. Okay? 40 million strong. 40 million. That's just in this country alone, standing, knowing that all things end. So we're at the end of this. This is the end of it. Okay? It all ends here. That the war in Gaza and Israel proper as a nation state, it's all connected to black people here. The war against Iran, most definitely connected to black people here. That there, you have no idea how this is going to play out. And any way that it plays out, they hear their whole narrative collapses. Not just theirs, but the United States, it collapses. Europe, it collapses. Okay? It's over. And the only way for it to survive is for the world to go back to sleep. And the world's never going to go back to sleep. And it can't survive as long as I'm here. They know that. And it'll end bad. For whatever reason. I don't want to make... You can't. It's been tried over and over and over and over, and it always comes back. So imagine this truth. This is inescapable for them. Imagine what's going on in their head as their entire religion or belief system is silently under assault. I don't get to go after their religion. I don't have to. I don't have to. It does fine just by it itself. That's why I largely don't speak on it. And if I guess that there's nothing else. So they put a value on this situation and this person and this dichotomy, but really all that shit worthless. It's laughably worthless. Now imagine grown ass men as a little boy. When I grow up, I want to be rich. And when I grow up, I want to be prime minister. And when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. This one wants to be a judge. This one wants to be this. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, you little bastard, you. Run. Run. Disgusting. And I started to say how fast they went by. Like she in his pretty pony time or something. No, you in real time now. It's not the same as your childhood time where you sit your ass around, oh, I wish I'd be glad when I get 18. And then 18 comes, the next thing your ass know, you're 30. 10, 12 years have got behind your ass real fucking fast. Real quick. And all that's grew up around your ass, be it kids or problems. Be it kids or problems. And it didn't say long. Anyway, let's wrap this up. This is for haven't known peace since 1948. They haven't known peace since the 15th and 16th and 14th centuries. And they're never going to know peace. They're never going to. So what the world does with all of this information, I don't know. But I understand. We are on a warlike footing. When I say we, source and the universe and the sunshine and the birds and the trees, river water, salt water, man, it just doesn't matter. We are on a warlike footing because we understand that there will be war over this. Equity and evil. Then they can't stop. They can't stop as a people. Okay? So good luck. I wish them good luck too. If I was to tell them that Jesus loves them and to find Jesus, I may have just got banned. right there. Right there. Enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, others, if you don't see me, come to YouTube. Source 7 started to, when adults start to act like the children, start to do things that don't make any real sense, doesn't really advance them, then at that point, you might ought to start to distancing yourself from that person. Enjoy the rest of your night. And Source and 7 and 1.